A mochi moment from Sadie, who writes, I'm not crying, you're crying. This is what I said during my first appointment with my physician at Mochi, because I didn't have to convince him I needed a GLP-1. He understood, and I felt supported, not judged. I came for the weight loss and stayed for the empathy. Thanks, Sadie. I'm Myra Ahmed, founder of Mochi Health. To find your Mochi moment, visit joinmochi.com.
Sadie is a Mochi member compensated for her story.
I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and zero weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 7 plant protein bars, 4 hydration mixes, and 4 enhanced coffee sticks. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20 to get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. Again, go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20.
We've done this before.
We have, and it's been amazing. This will be amazing-er. This is Car Con Carne. I'm James Van Osel. Car Con Carne, presented by Alex Ross Art. Alex Ross, the iconic, the legendary comic book and graphic novel illustrator, a man who has this photorealistic style of painting that makes it look like the heroes and villains he's putting on the page from DC and Marvel and all the other companies, makes it look like they live among us. They're so realistic. They're so cool. Alex Ross Arts will have a booth at the New York Comic Con happening this week. As I'm recording this week in New York, Alex Ross Art. If you're going to New York Comic Con, visit Alex Ross. Here's Alex Ross talking about his YouTube page.
Hi, this is Alex Ross. I appreciate you guys supporting our YouTube, and we create new content every week. I hope you will continue to support us, and please subscribe.
It's Car Con Carne. Let's meet in the car. It's Car Con Carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Osel.
So if you're listening to this podcast, if you're watching this podcast, you're probably a big music fan. And Chicago is one of those towns where you're rewarded for being a music fan. You can see a concert every night. You can see a couple concerts every night. When you live in and around a world-class music city, there's so much going on, it can sometimes seem overwhelming. And that's where In the Loop magazine comes in. They cover everything from up-and-coming club acts to stadium giants. In the Loop magazine is a one-stop shop for music coverage all over Chicago. In the Loop loves music just as much as you do, just as much as I do, just as much as my guest Stephanie Sack does. They cover everything. Show recaps, tour previews, interviews, photo galleries, so much more. Check them out at beintheloopchicago.com.
I'm going to do that right away.
I thank you. Thank you for supporting the people who support Car Con Carne.
It's my pleasure.
My guest is a returning guest to this podcast. She is Stephanie Sack. She's a cinephile. She's a Giallo-holic. She's a Giallo-phile, a Giallo
All
expert.
All of the above, yes.
And let's start there with a quick reset. What is Giallo?
Boy, that's really a good question, James, and I'm really glad you asked me. So the Giallo is a subgenre of Italian horror, primarily coming out in the 70s. Years are probably, for purposes of this brilliant intellectual conversation, 67 to 87, with maybe 70 to 77, 78 being the years that are the most Giallo of the Giallo years, I guess. And Giallo is technically a mystery film. Usually there's a murder. It's a glorious, colorful, lurid murder, which is really my favorite. Yeah. And then there's
the more lurid, the better.
That's really. That's right. It really can't be lurid enough. And after the murder, or maybe before even, somebody is trying to figure out who the murderer or murderess is. And wild and wacky Italian adventures soon ensue.
Fantastic. And the reason why I asked you this, the reason why you're here will make themselves clear shortly. And I'm doing all Halloween adjacent episodes this month. It's Candy Corn Carne this month. And
Love it.
You're the perfect guest for this. And to record, we are untethered from restaurants this month. We're recording in front of the Red Lion Pub at 2446 Lincoln Avenue, which is closed. We're recording this on a Monday. But the reason why, this is one of those places that has lore to it, haunted lore. This is supposedly haunted. I don't believe in hauntings or ghosts, but if you do, this is one of your places to go.
Yes to all. I mean, Chicago is a city full of ghosts. And this place is, I guess, one of the places where they like to gather and drink.
It is. Multiple sightings here include a bearded man.
Hipster, maybe?
Not all people with beards are hipsters.
We'll move on.
A cowboy, a girl named Sharon who loves to play pranks like knocking books off shelves, interfering with the sound system, opening latched windows. People who've gone to Red Lion report experiences ranging from watching things just fall to being locked and trapped in the bathroom and watching plates fall out of servers' hands, which may not be ghosts.
Right.
I used to wait tables. It wasn't a ghost that...
I think for the sake of both convenience and glamour, ghosts are probably the Occam's razor of this situation.
Explain Occam's razor for those who don't know.
Oh boy, I'm going to be explaining a lot. Occam's
You
razor.
may be too highbrow for this podcast. Can you get out?
Oh no, you are stuck with my highbrow ass. Occam's razor is the concept that the most simplest explanation is usually the in fact explanation.
There it is. So back to Giallo, back to
Giallo.
Candy Corn Carne, back to Halloween.
Yes.
There's a lot happening in and around Chicago as it pertains to Giallo. In fact, as we're recording this, it's too late for people who are watching or listening, but Argento's opera is playing at the Alamo Drafthouse as we're recording this.
I was at the Alamo seeing Argento's opera on Friday night, and it really is the last great Giallo ever made.
Really?
Yes.
This is it?
This is it. This is the fermata on Giallo. It just sort of is where it stops in the best possible way.
So was this like at the end of the movement, like 87, or was this in that peak period you talked about?
Oh, no. This is at the tail end. An argument could be made that this is, in fact, Argento's last great film, and it is an argument that I can and will make. But it is a fabulous time to be a Giallo fan, and it's a great time to be a Giallo fan in Chicago. And being a Giallo fan in Chicago is really just a pure pleasure, you know? What a great time to be into horror films in general, but of course my favorite, Italian.
So, while we're on the topic of Dario Argento, Demons, the movie, the score to the movie, being performed on Friday.
No, on Sunday.
Sunday. I'm terrible with dates.
That's okay.
Sunday
They
the 15th.
all end in Y. Yes. Sunday
Claudio
the 15th.
Simonetti and Goblin performing the live score
Yes.
to that movie that's happening at Copernicus.
Yes, at the Copernicus Center. What a cool venue.
What a cool event.
What a cool event.
I love stuff like this.
Me too. So last year I saw Goblin perform a similar situation, playing live to Suspiria at Talia Hall. And man, they bring it. They're so tight. They're so good. The energy is big. And just hearing the Goblin soundtrack and seeing them play it and watching it to the film, it is really a special event. And to be clear, Argento produced Demons, did not direct it, but it's really become part of the Argento constellation, especially in America. It's going to be a great time.
So this is kind of like when the CSO plays the Lion King at Ravinia.
This is exactly like when the CSO plays Lion King in Ravinia. I could not think of a better metaphor.
Perfect. All right, so that's happening this weekend. Now, before that happens, on Saturday the 14th, Chicago's horror-themed cafe, The Brewed, will be hosting for 5 hours on Saturday the 14th the wonderful, the delightful Barbara Magnolfi.
The one and only, a Giallo queen, a real Giallo queen.
A real Giallo queen.
Will be in Chicago at The Brewed, as you said. It's Chicago's horror-themed cafe. It's their first signing, so that's super, super exciting.
I'm surprised they haven't done one yet.
Well, here I am. I'm going to solve that.
Uh-huh.
So we're going to have this signing. Miss Magnolfi will be in town, obviously. around to sign photos. She's going to be debuting a new photo in her collection, so we're very excited about that.
The last time I saw her in town was at Facets, and you interviewed her.
I really did.
You really did. I thought it was fascinating because you had all that deep insider information, all that insight that we pedestrians wouldn't have. I thought it was really interesting.
Thank you, James. That's a really nice compliment, and I really appreciate that from you. Barbara is a fascinating woman, has really had a lot of longevity in her career, but who she worked with in Italy in the 70s is just a who's who of the genre. There's Argento with Suspiria. There's Sergio Martino with The Suspicious Death of a Minor, which actually I will also be screening at a small cinema on Sunday the 15th. If anybody is interested, there are 6 tickets as of this filming. 6 tickets left.
So it may be done by the time people see or hear this, but that's really cool.
Thank you.
And she's going to be there for that.
That's right. And I will be interviewing her for that as well. And 75 in this particular title, we're seeing an interesting evolution of the genre. We're going from straight up Giallo to incorporating elements of crime, elements of thrillers, elements of action films. And a lot of the Gialli were transitioning that way. And not only is this a fantastic hybrid from the Giallo crime and action flick, it's Barbara's debut film role.
Nice. How young was she?
Oh, my goodness. A young lass of, I think, early 20s, let's say.
And based on when I saw you with Barbara at Facets, may we all age as well as her?
I mean, the virgin she must sacrifice to remain that gorgeous. They're hard to find, James, so... Yeah.
So I've got to ask, so 5 hours is a long time for any in-store event. So this is a great event. If you have any inclination or interest, head to the Brewed on Saturday the 14th. You are very much linked to Barbara Magnolfi, who is an actress and successful years before you could legally see an R-rated movie.
Indeed. Not that I waited that long to see an R-rated movie.
Oh, none of us of our generation did.
Indeed.
Yeah. How does one like you become part of Barbara Magnolfi's life and vice versa?
Boy, that's another really good question. So, I have always loved this genre. Mm-hmm. And I first saw Suspiria when I was 13. And I then actually saw Demons, interestingly enough, a few years later at a sleepover. And I suggested that the girls watch Demons, and it went over very badly, and I was never invited to a sleepover again. So
That'll do it.
It really will. A lot of these films, James, they're just in my DNA. I've just always been really attracted to them, and I think I just innately understood sort of the post-war psychology and the technological advancements that the Italians were working on. They just really appealed to me. But what happened that Barbara has become a wonderful part of my life is a very simple scene in Suspiria. And it's a scene in Suspiria where she talks about women whose names begin with S, like me, are snakes. And you have to understand, James, that when I saw that when I was 13, I realized that Barbara and Dario were talking to me.
Sure.
And I was already their best friend. They just didn't know it yet. And I still stand by that, actually.
Yeah, makes sense.
And a few years ago, I was thinking, well, Stephanie, what do you want to do? And really what I want to do is show my murder movies. So I decided to start making moves to show my murder movies. And one of those moves was to very politely reach out to Miss Magnolfi on Facebook, introduce myself as a fan. I did not tell her about my intense love for her and Dario since the age of 13. I have told her that, but you gotta pace yourself with these things.
So this is basically a cold call.
It's totally a cold call. And I suggested that maybe she and I could do something fun on social media. We had something called Magnolfi Mondays, where I was posting a little blurb about her on Mondays. And from that, we just started to really talk and really share our ideas and really dreams about cinema in general. And it all just unfolded into this really beautiful partnership.
I love that. And she keeps coming to Chicago.
She really does. Well, she's adored here.
Yes.
Yes.
So again, the Brewed 5 hours, get a picture, meet her.
Yes.
Ask her all the nerdiest things you've ever wanted to ask about Italian cinema.
This might be the nadir of nerdiness happening, but I definitely will be there
Apex.
for it.
Apex.
That's right. That's right.
Here's just when I talk to you, and just knowing you, Stephanie, when I go to concerts, I find it's almost easier if I go to concerts by myself. I don't always invite a plus one with me because I see concerts in a different way from my friends, and that's not snobby. It's just I've been to so many, and I've been around the industry. I see them differently, and I have different levels of patience for different things.
Yes.
And the reason why I bring this up is based on the way you speak about cinema and film and the knowledge you have, I've got to think seeing movies is the same for you, and you're probably perfectly fine going solo.
Oh, I prefer going solo.
There it is.
I prefer. And really, it's for the safety of anybody who might want to attend with me. It's really for them.
Safety.
It's all for the other person. James, I have known you for a long time, and I totally understand your approach to concerts in general. And I think you going to a concert alone is probably like a restorative, very energizing event. And it's the same for me to attend cinema by myself.
I had a feeling.
Yeah, yes. Now, I've been very lucky. Over the years, I have met and, shall we say, trained some companions. But in general,
amazing.
I'm definitely a sort of a cinema alone. Cinema solo.
I get to the point with concerts, if I go with someone, I'm like, oh, fuck, we really have to see the encore? Is that really what we're doing?
Right. Negotiating your time at a concert is pure pain. And negotiating my experience and time at the cinema...
Having to manage someone else's good time, it's
impossible.
It's impossible.
It is impossible. However, for a long time, it was weird to go do things by yourself.
It was. Whether it's eating in a restaurant or seeing a movie. Yeah, I agree.
And there's still like these memes or these like very pithy sayings that says, if you can go out for a meal or see a movie by yourself, you can do anything. Well, I'm here to tell you guys, I can do anything.
Damn right.
In case anybody was curious about that. Apparently the arbiter of being able to do anything is seeing a movie by yourself. So I encourage everybody to explore more awesome things on their own, including coming to the Brewed on Saturday, because this is a clarion call for cinephiles and Italophiles and Argentoites and, Magnolfiists. It's really going to be a fantastic time.
And in the wild situation that perhaps someone watching or listening gets in under the wire and there's still availability for the screening, how do people get in on that?
So for the screening of The Suspicious Death of a Minor on Sunday, October 15th at 1:30 p.m. at a secret cinema in West Humboldt Park, please email me. And you can reach me at vivelafemmechic@gmail.com. That's VIVELAFEMMECHIC @gmail.com.
This is like a Giallo speakeasy thing you're running here.
Yes, it is exactly a Giallo speakeasy. And besides having my own private theater in a hot yoga studio, a Giallo speakeasy is basically how I want to live. I mean, it's just totally my dream.
I love this, and what I love about what you're doing, whether it's with Barbara at the Brewed or doing this screening or all the other stuff you're involved with, you're a curator. I love people who are so passionate about movies, film, whatever, that they want to pass it on.
Yes, you've mentioned that, and I also appreciate that. And I'm not only a curator, I consider myself an educator.
Mm-hmm.
Because
very much so.
I love presenting these films and the people who made them and the music that is played in them and the crew. I love talking about the crew of these films, and I love presenting it properly in its context of where it belongs in 20th century film history.
I love a good score, a good movie score.
Yes.
It was something I never paid attention to or concerned myself with until maybe 10 years ago.
James, I'm not too far behind you. I really started paying attention to movie scores maybe about 10 or 15 years ago as well. And it's really changed the whole experience.
It has changed the whole experience.
Yes.
And I think my coming of age with that was John Carpenter stuff. That was my gateway drug. I'm like, oh my God, I love Escape from New York. I love the Halloween score. And that just...
Right. He is such a polymath. I mean, what a brilliant guy. But the interesting thing about his music, and to a lesser or greater extent, a handful of other soundtracks, is not only are they absolutely crucial to the film, there's no film without them, they really stand alone as a piece of art unto themselves. That as a listening session from start to finish, I would throw in Blade Runner, I would throw in Xanadu to that as well. I will stand behind that.
I love the ELO version of the title track.
Love the ELO version of the title track. And listening to soundtracks as their own entity, as their own discrete experience with art, I think is a lost art. And I definitely plan to be doing a lot more listening parties with soundtracks. And soon, right before Halloween, on October 30th, I will be merging my love of yoga, because I teach yin yoga, which is about relaxing into postures and just sort of like chilling the fuck out in the best possible yin way. I'm going to be doing a Halloween yin class and then playing the Suspiria soundtrack afterward.
Nice.
So yes, I love merging the two of yoga and music, but this soundtrack back to film, I mean, this is a goat. It is. There's no film without the Suspiria soundtrack, and the Suspiria soundtrack on its own is a trip. It just doesn't get any better than that when it comes to
It's
Goblin.
so good. Now, this is Halloween time. We're recording this early to mid-October. This is obviously your time. This is your season.
You know, I've only recently kind of come around to Halloween, because I feel like every day I wear a costume, you know?
I was going to say, you're
every day where I put on something to...
You've got goth cred.
I do. Well, if nothing else, James, I definitely have got some goth street cred. But over the last couple of years, I've really started to embrace the sort of the spirit and the change, and sort of how the veil is a bit thin during this time of year, where we shift from summer to winter, and, you know, all the changes that are coming, especially in Chicago.
Yep.
And I do appreciate being able to luxuriate in that shift, and we're very lucky we get to do so.
100%. Okay, so in conclusion, Stephanie Sack.
Yeah.
Saturday, the 14th, at the Brewed, it is the amazing Italian actress, Barbara Magnolfi. And then the next day, private screening of her very first film. You may be able to get into it, you may not. Cool idea regardless.
Thank you.
And then on the 30th,
yes,
it's yoga and soundtrack.
Correct.
You did
it.
You are a busy woman.
Thank you. I don't feel busy. I feel lucky, which is a really nice way to feel.
I love cool. No one else is doing shit like this. These are cool events.
Thank you. Well, you know, I'm very lucky in that no one else is like me. I think we'll just leave it at that. But thank you.
I've said it before. The secret to being successful, or at least with entrepreneurship, is finding one thing you do differently and doing it really well.
I concur.
No one else is doing car podcast. Well, it's not true anymore, but not a lot of people are doing car podcasts.
You are definitely a pioneer in that, James. Receive the pioneership.
All right. Stephanie Sack, always great to see you. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for meeting me in front of the haunted Red Lion.
I'm feeling the vibes, James. It's always lovely to hang out with you. It's always great to talk about film. It's always great to talk about Chicago. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course.
When was the last time you felt in control of your business finances? Expenses tracked, invoices sent, taxes ready. That's where Found comes in. Found brings your banking, bookkeeping, invoicing, and taxes together in one simple app. Manage expenses, invoice clients, send payments, and prep for tax time right where you bank. Join the hundreds of thousands who have already streamlined their finances with Found. Open a Found account for free at found.com. That's FOUND.com. Found is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services provided by Lead Bank, member FDIC.